Hey, welcome back. So now it's time to list the invites here if we were invited. So I just want to create this get invited in the group.php class. Okay, so invite to group. Let's look at the one that has get. Actually, we don't even need to get too complex here. What I will do is I will duplicate this and then put a closing tag over there, and then I will say get invited, get underscore invited, delete the other stuff, save. Now we only get the group ID, of course, and then me is going to be equal to the session data. So where is that session data anyway? Let me go back to one of these where I can find the session data. Where can I find it? How about here? Yeah, there we go. That's the one right there. So let's come back to the class. So I'll say me is equal to, we can say add slashes, why not? There we go. And then now all I need to do is run a query and check if the query is true or false. Yeah. If the query is true or false, I think yeah, it's better to return the whole result so that we know the details of who invited, who did the inviting, and so on. Okay, so check, and then if we don't do anything here, we just say return false. But here we will return check 0, the very first item. Okay, so how now do we check for the row? So we have a group ID, we have me there. So let's make sure group ID is sanitized. Oops. Group ID. Okay, so that's our sanitization right there. So we have two items here. Now the things we need to check for are in group. We'll come back here. Group invites, correct. So we'll say selector from group invites where group ID is good. Group ID, correct. User ID. Wait a minute. Yes. User ID is equal to me. And then inviter, we don't care about the inviter, so all we need is disabled should be equal to 0. Then it's valid. Okay, so then we return that, or we return false. So let me come back here to group content invited, and then if it's an array, then we'll see all that. Okay. So now let's come back here. It should say no invitations were found, but there we go. Undefined variable db on line 152. This is inside the classes, and that's because we did not declare it. So let me copy that and put it here. There we go. Let's give it one more try. Okay, so no invitations were found for me. But John Captain has an invitation to this. So let's log out and log in as him. Log out. Let's go in as John. Now the thing is, John is not part of any groups. No groups were found. So now he's just about to be. So in a normal case, we would see a notification, but since we can't, let's just jump to the group directly. Okay, so this is the group here, and let me put /invited. Now keep in mind this will be brought, the user will be brought here using a notification, and then here we go. Okay, so this is looking good. If you have errors, it means you are making progress. So it's saying illegal string offset user ID on line 16, group content invited. So let's check that out. Group content invited, line 16. So it's saying illegal string offset user ID. So that user ID does not exist. Okay, now the reason is because we are looping through these guys over here. So since we are looping here, it means in the group class, we should remove this 0 and return it as it is intended to be returned, as a full array in an array. So if I refresh now, I get less errors. Okay, so let's look one more time here. Include user group request failed to open stream. No such file exists. User group request. Where is that? So there's user group request. Oh, so we forgot the inc at the very end. .inc save. So come back here and refresh. Very good. So now it's saying John Captain. I'm definitely online. So do I accept or decline is the question. Now I need to know who invited me to this group, and that is no big thing. Oh, that is no little thing, sorry. So all I need to know is, am I on the invited or am I on the invites? Because this determines whether I should display who invited me or not. So if the URL there has invited, then we should show something else. So let me come back here. Let's open that file, the inc user group request.inc, and let's get to this point right here. Okay, so now all I need to know is was I invited? So we can put an if statement. So we'll say invited is equal to false. So let's begin with a false premise. We assume you were not invited, but if we check the URL in this case, so let me check that part that actually where did I it's in invite.php, is it? Yes, right here. Cool. So let's come here and do that. Okay, so instead of beginning with this premise, what I will do is move the false over here and then move the invited to be here. That way, if what we want is set, we set to it, and if not, we say false. Actually, we're not even supposed to set to that, we just say true. And then I want to say is set and the same is equal to invited. All right, so invited becomes true if this is true, and it becomes false if not. So all we have to ask is if invited. So we'll say if invited, then tell us who invited you. Now, how do we get the user that invited this person? Well, this array of invite contains that information because it's coming from the database where we have this inviter. Yes. So what I could do here, because this is invited, I could duplicate this. Instead of friend row, I'll say inviter row class get user invite, and then instead of user ID, inviter. That way I can use inviter row in here. Where are we? Wait, this is not the place. Right there. Okay, so if invited, then and is set. Yes, that is set, just to be sure. Then now what we're going to do is I can echo out who this inviter is. So I'll say echo, you were invited by, then let's add to it and say inviter row first name, and then again concatenate a space and do the same inviter row last name. Oh, what did I click? Yes. So let's see how that looks like. I'll refresh. Syntax error on line 46. Well, I forgot a semicolon. So you see, when you get used to programming like this, I don't even check what the error is about. I just go to the line and usually I spot the error. If I can't, that's when I come back to actually read the error. But for you as a beginner, you have to read the errors because they give you information. So you see, you were invited by, and it shows that information. Yes, but I want to show this after the break here, after the online and right here. So let me put some more PHP tags over here, close that, and move my man down to this position. There we go. And refresh. Oh, what I will do is put a break tag at the very end there. We shouldn't be shy about break tags here because there will always only be one name in this column at a time. Okay, there will always be just one name here, your own name who was invited. So you were invited by this person here, which is okay. And then there's accept and decline. Let me make this one float to the right. Float, no, actually to the left. Let's see, maybe to look more balanced like that. Okay, so accept and decline. I'll tell this one to float to the right. That way we are balanced properly. It's not happening at all. I tried. So now we have you were invited by, so you see who invited you. This is you here, and you can accept or decline this invitation. See? So pretty good, yeah? So now what we want to do is, before we can even have this person accept, we see how we can add this to the notifications so that they get a notification, and then the notification brings them here where they're going to either accept or decline.